The Pittsburgh Steelers fall to the Arizona Cardinals in one of the worst losses that I've ever seen in the Mike Tomlin era to a football team that had no business beating them. I know this is the NFL, everybody's good, but that football team had a lot of issues, and the Steelers let them claw into that game and absolutely blow them out. Welcome back to Mike Drop Sports, everybody. I'm Jason. So many storylines from yesterday's game. So many. Let's start off with the big one. Quarterback Kenny Pickett out 2 to 4 weeks with an ankle injury. Will undergo surgery today. Kenny Pickett, now the underperforming guy, out. Do the Steelers really miss a beat going to Mitchell Trubisky, who's been just as bad when he's been in? Do the Pittsburgh Steelers look to Mason Rudolph eventually? And I think that could happen if the Steelers stumble here against the Patriots, have a bad game. I think the Steelers could look at Mason and say, hey, man, we're going to give you a try before they lose far too much ground inside this AFC playoff race. Does Kenny Pickett return around the Baltimore game, around the Seattle game, and start to make a playoff push? What do the Steelers do? Are they just clueless now at quarterback? Are they just dumbfounded with what to do, considering the two top guys aren't really performing well? Then you had yesterday a TJ Watt ankle injury on a flagrant hold. TJ even said after the football game that he was held and that the NFL must have something against him, and maybe possibly he doesn't even know what it is, but possibly they're just trying to slow him down. Maybe the referees are not calling it consistently. I won't call it unfair, but not consistently enough on TJ Watt, considering his ability. Maybe they need to consider looking at the film and start to call things consistently on TJ Watt's side of the football. Maybe they're trying to slow down his dominance so he doesn't take over a football game, so it doesn't slow down the pace of a football game when they're constantly calling holding penalties on the guy guarding TJ Watt. Which is to no fault of TJ. He's being penalized maybe for being good. I'm not sure. I'm not trying to start a conspiracy theory, but TJ Watt started it himself by calling out the NFL and saying that he thinks they have something against him. Let's also talk about a Minkah Fitzpatrick injury. Just returned yesterday from a lengthy hamstring injury that kept him out for over a month. Minkah breaks his hand, and now he says he's going to continue to play. He's just going to wrap it up, and he's just going to tough it out. But does that affect him in a big way to where he's not able to be the Minkah that we all know? Yesterday, he seemed to be not as effective as he usually is when he's in that ball game. Was he rusty with the communication? So many things on that back end that were going wrong. You had one bright spot. Joey Porter was locking down Marquise Brown. He wasn't able to do anything, but Joey Porter Jr. had a big pass interference call down there in the end zone, which I thought was kind of ticky-tacky, but he did foul the guy. He did make the penalty, and it was called. I thought it was a close call, but they did call it, and it was costly for the Steelers as the Arizona Cardinals scored on the very next play. You had Isaac Sumalu go down with a shoulder injury. I'm not sure his status. I'm not sure if that's going to be a long-term thing. But what do the Steelers do on the offensive line? Nate Herbig, Spencer Anderson's on the roster. So many different things that they could do. But let's get to the big one on the offensive line first. And that is the horrible play of Mason Cole. Mason Cole rolling the football back to the quarterback consistently, no matter who is behind center, and it can't happen. You don't see other NFL centers consistently putting up bad snaps the way Mason Cole does. The way he is playing, the way he is snapping the football is costing the Steelers, and it cost the Steelers big yesterday. The Steelers were driving, and Mason Cole rolls that ball back to Mitchell Trubisky. Mitchell Trubisky tries to pick it up and make a play with it. It wasn't Mitchell Trubisky's fault. That was all on Mason Cole. Yes, Mitch should have probably fell on it, but he was trying to make a play. It's been so consistent. They're just trying to overcome the horrible play of Mason Cole. Do the Steelers allow Nate Herbig to snap? Do the Steelers go to James Daniels? There's options there, and I think the Steelers need to explore them. If you're the Steelers and you're Mike Tomlin, he failed this team yesterday also. His situational football, horrible. Horrible. And then you allow a team to go into a game so unprepared, at least they look so unprepared. Having penalties of too many men on the field, illegal formations. You're an NFL team. There shouldn't be several illegal formation calls throughout a football game. I don't care if you fired your coordinator or not, but these are basic tasks, basic things that are happening. And Mike Tomlin continues to allow this football team to be undisciplined, to play in a manner that is just unacceptable. And is it time now for Mike Tomlin to be on the hot seat? We've heard a lot of reports of who fired Matt Canada, a lot saying Art Rooney, a lot saying Mike Tomlin did. But I'm going to believe that Art Rooney really did. And I think that may be a sign that Mike Tomlin might be on a hotter seat than we all think. Mike Tomlin only having his contract to 2024. Do the Steelers consider pushing him out the door? They won't fire him, but maybe they nudge him to retire. Maybe they nudge him to quit. I'm not sure where the Steelers go, and I'm not sure if Mike Tomlin's the answer for this football team anymore. Maybe he has aged out, but he has not produced winning football in the city of Pittsburgh for a long time. A 500 record is bullshit. I'm sorry, it's stupid. A winning season, just being that the standard, that's stupid. That is a dumb statistic and the most ridiculous one I've heard. People in Pittsburgh have come accustomed to winning Super Bowls, and just being mediocre and 500 is unacceptable. For a franchise that has set the bar high, that is piss poor, and the Steelers need to figure out what they need to do to correct that. Let's get back to that offense real quick. I want to talk about what you guys think about Mitchell Trubisky staying on the helm, staying at the starting quarterback. Do you think he's going to be able to guide this football team for 2 to 4 weeks and be able to produce wins? Is he going to be able to beat the teams they're supposed to, with a big Indianapolis game looming in 2 weeks? Is Mitchell Trubisky the answer? We will see quickly Thursday whether he's the answer or not. And I'm not sure if he has the ability to overcome the amount of adversity that's on this football team and put it on his shoulders and really start to carry this team and throw the football well. I thought the Steelers improved on offense, but they're still having those red zone woes. They're still not able to convert into touchdowns. They are removing the ball up and down the field, but then they would kill themselves, not being able to get it in the red zone, getting a timely penalty that just stalls out drives. Horrible game planning on the offensive side of the football also when you're running tosses, pitch plays. I counted 10 at least, and I'm sure there were more than that. You can't run the same play over and over and over again and expect different results. Yes, sometimes it was successful, but I think you need to mix it up. This is the NFL. You were playing a JV football team on the defensive side of the football for the Arizona Cardinals yesterday. A JV squad, and I think that you needed to take advantage of that. And when this game started, I thought they were going to be able to, but quickly the drive stalls. They settle for a Boswell field goal, and it stalls their momentum. And it just killed the football team. Totally killed the football team. And now we move to the defensive side of the football. Mounting injuries. We forgot one, Landon Roberts with the groin. The last true green dot guy. The last of the starters from the beginning of the season. Out. Not sure if this is going to be long term, but groins tend to be a problem. You saw Cameron Hayward's injury. It could spell trouble for Landon Roberts. You couldn't see him again, maybe to the playoffs. Maybe. It just depends on the significance of that injury. And do the Steelers now turn to Miles Jack, a Martinez? Is that where they're going to have to go? I think that's what they're going to have to do. Bring up Miles Jack, bring up Martinez, and incorporate them into this lineup and try to find a combination that works. Blake Martinez is a good football player, and he's had success in the NFL. And I think with another chance that he could prove to be better. You had Walker yesterday play okay, but they were targeting. With Trey McBride, one of the best tight ends right now in the NFL. They were attacking that defense in the middle, and it was working, and it was successful. And it's going to be a game plan for everybody else moving forward, and they're going to exploit that if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers. And do the Steelers defense, are they able to overcome this injury bug? Yesterday, the Steelers have been relatively healthy if you look across the board. Yes, they've had injuries on defense, but across the board, they've been relatively healthy. But yesterday, man, did they get bit hard. And was that due to delays in the football game? Was that due to the wet field? I'm not sure, but they really got caught up on the injury bug and really sustained a large amount of injuries yesterday, which could be huge and detrimental to this football team. Let's talk though about the Steelers' playoff chances. They still sit 7-5, controlling their own destiny. They're in the driver's seat for their own to control their own path. And the Pittsburgh Steelers now face a New England Patriots team this Thursday that should be a win. It should improve the Steelers to 8-5, and I'm going to say that they do win. I don't think a Mike Tomlin-led team loses 2 times at home. I don't think that happens. But the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to have to figure out some things quickly. And today they have to really, I don't even think you watch this tape. And if you're Mike Tomlin and you want to be a good quality coach, I think you need to come in, put the New England Patriots game up on the board and say, this is it. This is our singular focus, because I think they overlooked the Arizona Cardinals, a team that they should have beaten. I think that they took it for granted that their record was so bad that they could just easily walk all over this football team, and they didn't. And it was proved yesterday that any given Sunday can happen. But if you're Mike Tomlin, you put that New England game up on the board like once a Bill Cowher-led team did, where he went in and put the Chicago game up on the board and he said, man, this is it. This is the one game. 1 week at a time. And I think if you're Mike Tomlin, you need to take that same philosophy and really focus on the game at hand and the task at hand, and not let this football team get any more out of control. I think if you're the Steelers, you need to find some discipline. Let's also talk about one more thing before we get out of here, and I can't believe I actually forgot when we were talking about the offense. Diontae Johnson's celebration, catching a touchdown in garbage time. I'm going to play it for you right now on the screen. Deontay Johnson catching the ball late in the game for a touchdown. I know it was only his second touchdown in years? I get that. But Deontay Johnson celebrating that score was absolutely ridiculous and proves over and over again his lack of intelligence, his lack of ability to be an adult. He needs to really quickly turn this around and correct these issues. He's really, really hurting his football team. His leadership is poor, and he is one of the veteran guys that this offensive unit has to be looking toward. And Deontay Johnson is failing his team, failing that franchise who paid him $18 million. They are in a bad spot with Deontay Johnson, and the more he does, the more I think that Deontay Johnson won't be a Pittsburgh Steeler come next season. I think Omar Khan and company will get rid of him and get something for him now while they still can. And hopefully Deontay Johnson does turn it around this season. I don't want to see the guy fail. But when you act like a moron, people are going to talk about you like you're a moron. When you do things like an idiot, people are going to think you're an idiot. Period. It's just that simple. And if you're Deontay Johnson, you need to fix it and fix it fast. I did a video that this is the last season for Deontay Johnson in the Steelers uniform. And the more and more games roll on, the more and more time moves on, I believe that to even be more true than ever. Even more true than when I made this video. But as far as the Steelers moving toward the playoffs, I think they still have a shot. I think they're going to still make the playoffs. I think they're going to win against the New England Patriots. Are they going to be able to overcome these injuries? I put a poll up in the community section here on the channel. If you're not subscribed, go subscribe so you can answer that community poll. I want to see what you guys think. Will the Steelers make the playoffs or won't they make the playoffs? Is there too much adversity right now to overcome? Let me know what you guys think. Answer the poll question. I'd appreciate it. But we need to really think, is the Steelers team able to lose another game? Are they able to come out of this 4-2 in the final 6 and still make the playoffs? I think they could. I think as long as they get to 10 wins, I think they'll be okay. But is it a team you even want to see in the playoffs? That's the real question. Is it a team that's just going to get in the first round and get blown out by a good football team when they go in and play a higher seed? I'm not sure. I would rather them make the playoffs and get blown out in the first round than not make the playoffs. I could say that. I don't want to see a football team fail and not achieve some of the goals at least. At least I want to see them make the playoffs and at least look like they're progressing, at least look like they have some growth and some optimism heading into 2024. I'm a guy that never quits to the end. I don't want to see anybody write them off now. I want to see how this all plays out and see how the Pittsburgh Steelers respond to this adversity. But we got to be realistic at times. Is Kenny Pickett even the guy going forward? Does it even matter that he's out? We know Mitchell Trubisky's not the answer. Mason Rudolph, he's not the everyday starter either, guys. Where do the Steelers find a steady quarterback play? So many questions that are going to be plaguing this team as they move into the offseason. So many. And the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to have to continue to fight and continue to face this adversity head on if they want to do anything this year. But the Pittsburgh Steelers tend to fight back, tend to not quit. So we'll see. They're usually in it to the end. We'll see if this year proves to be the same. All right, guys, let me know what you guys think about yesterday's loss. That's going to be the last time we talk about the Cardinals game here on the channel, except for maybe bits and pieces here and there as reference. But we're not going to really go in depth to that loss again. It was an ugly loss. It's not worth really going over. It was pathetic performance by the Steelers. We all know that. Pathetic performance across the board, especially by the center Mason Cole. The quarterback play sucked them, both of them. Just so many issues. The defense getting so banged up. Just big time problems across the board for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And we're going to see if this team can respond and continue to move forward and take a march toward the AFC playoffs. Alright guys, until next time, subscribe to the channel, like the videos, and share to everybody you know, and continue to grow our community of awesome Steeler fans, intelligent Steeler fans that have great comments, and keep those comments coming because those are awesome and very important to the channel. Alright guys, until next time, peace.